Forget everything you think you know about the electric vehicle revolution. While Western legacy automakers like Ford, General Motors, and even European giants like Volkswagen are still patting themselves on the back for slowly transitioning from 400-volt systems to 800-volt architectures. A monumental shift has just happened. Traditional automotive engineering has just collapsed. A Chinese technology company, primarily known for making smartphones, didn't just build a car. They shattered a barrier in solid-state physics and electrical engineering that Tesla and Porsche have been trying to tame for half a decade. We are looking at the engineering inside the Xiaomi SU7, and it does not run on 400 volts. It does not even run on a standard 800-volt system. It operates at a terrifying sustained 897 volts. For the average consumer watching a commercial, this just means a bizarrely fast charging time. But if you are an engineer, a mechanic, or someone who understands the laws of physics, you know the absolute nightmare this number represents. When you push nearly 900 volts through a moving, vibrating machine built of metal and wires, you enter a literal war against dielectric breakdown. You are fighting Pascal's law every single second the car is turned on. At this extreme voltage, electricity no longer wants to stay inside the copper cables. It becomes aggressive. It wants to jump. It wants to create a plasma arc through the air, bridging the gap between components, and fry every single microchip and passenger in the vehicle. The insulation required to stop almost 900 volts from arcing in a high humidity, high vibration environment is something the West has historically reserved for aerospace engineering and deep-sea cables, not mass-produced sedans. Today, we are going to break down the exact physics, the thermodynamics, and the material science of how China just humiliated the Western auto industry. We will explore how they manipulated fluid dynamics, how they rewrote the limits of centrifugal force, and how they built a machine that makes legacy European engineering look like it belongs in a museum. And we are starting with the death of silicon. To understand why 897 volts is essentially a death sentence for traditional car designs, we have to look at the brain of the electric vehicle, the inverter. The inverter is the crucial component that converts direct current power from the battery pack into alternating current power for the electric motors. For decades, the Western automotive world has relied heavily on standard silicon insulated gate bipolar transistors, commonly known as IGBTs. But traditional silicon has a fatal, unavoidable flaw: its band gap. When you switch thousands of volts, thousands of times per second to drive an electric motor, traditional silicon creates massive electrical resistance. This brings us to the first law of physics that Western automakers constantly struggle with: Joule's first law. The law states that the power dissipated as heat is equal to the current squared, multiplied by the resistance. If you try to push extreme power through a standard 400-volt system, you need a massive amount of electrical current, measured in amps. Because the current is squared in the Joule equation, the heat generation is catastrophic. If you try to push too much power, you will literally melt the copper wires. You will destroy the battery cells. You will cause a thermal event. To solve this physics problem, the engineers behind the SU7 doubled the voltage to nearly 900 volts, which effectively cuts the required current in half for the exact same power output. But to survive this massive voltage without creating an electrical arc, they had to abandon standard silicon entirely. They moved to a full Silicon Carbide architecture. Silicon Carbide is a wide bandgap semiconductor. This means it allows electrons to withstand electric fields up to 10 times stronger than standard silicon without breaking down. The Silicon Carbide modules inside the Xiaomi switch electrical states in fractions of a nanosecond with virtually zero thermal loss. They completely eliminated the Joule heating bottleneck. This is quantum mechanics applied to a mass-produced consumer car. By eliminating the heat waste, they extract an efficiency level that makes the thermal management systems of the Ford Mustang Mach-E and the Porsche Taycan look like outdated, inefficient relics of the past. But solving the inverter heat problem is only half of the battle. What happens when you send that perfect mocherkanas lossless 900-volt power to the electric motor? You hit a mechanical brick wall. If you take a standard Western electric motor and push it past 18,000 revolutions per minute, it dies. Literally. As the heavy metal rotor inside the motor spins faster and faster, the centrifugal force trying to rip the metal apart grows exponentially. The physics dictating this destruction is brutal. The outward centrifugal force is directly proportional to the square of the angular velocity. This means that at 20,000 rpm, the outward force is catastrophic. If the mechanical stress exceeds the yield strength of the metal, the rotor will stretch, scrape against the stutter, and fragment like a hand grenade, destroying the entire car from the inside out. This is exactly why Tesla engineers had to wrap the rotors of the Model S Plaid in an incredibly expensive, tightly wound carbon fiber sleeve. It was a desperate, expensive attempt to hold the physics together just to reach 20,000 rpm safely. Enter the Xiaomi HyperEngine V8s. This motor reaches 27,200 revolutions per minute. Let that number sink in. 27,200 rpm. The G-forces at the outer edge of this rotor are enough to tear standard automotive steel apart like wet tissue paper. How did China break this physical barrier without using a $1 million carbon fiber sleeve? The answer lies in molecular metallurgy. Chinese material scientists developed a proprietary ultra-high-strength silicon electrical steel. We are talking about a tensile strength of 960 megapascals. They fundamentally altered the crystalline lattice of the steel alloy to withstand shear modulus stresses that Western engineers previously considered completely impossible for a mass-produced vehicle. Furthermore, at 27,000 rpm, the magnetic friction and eddy currents generate a thermal hell inside the motor casing. To prevent the permanent magnets from reaching their Curie temperature, which is the exact point where magnets permanently lose all their magnetic properties due to heat, they engineered a bidirectional, full-oil cooling system inside the stator itself. They are extracting latent heat directly from the core in milliseconds. It is a masterpiece of material science that makes legacy European motors look heavy, slow, and desperately inefficient. Having the most advanced, fastest spinning motor on the planet means absolutely nothing if you have to fight an invisible, impenetrable wall every time you drive. The Earth's atmosphere. In aerospace engineering, aerodynamic drag is a ruthless, unforgiving force. The force of drag is governed by an equation where velocity is squared. The absolute nightmare in this physics equation is that velocity squared factor. When you double your highway speed, the resistance of the air against the front of your car does not double, it quadruples. This is exactly why Western electric vehicles lose a massive chunk of their battery range the moment they hit the German Autobahn or the American interstate. The physics of the atmosphere demands a brutal energy tax just to move the air out of the way. The SU7 shattered this barrier by achieving a drag coefficient of 0.195. This makes it one of the most slippery, aerodynamic production cars ever built in human history. But this is not just about having a sleek, beautiful design. It is about manipulating fluid mechanics in real time. When a car moves forward, it creates a boundary layer of air that hugs the metal. In most Western cars, when this air layer reaches the rear bumper, it detaches too violently and too quickly. This creates a massive low-pressure vacuum behind the car. This turbulent wake literally acts as a parachute, sucking the vehicle backward and forcing the motors to work harder. The engineers utilized massive computational fluid dynamics supercomputers, running millions of simulations, to sculpt the completely flat underbody and the active side, air ducts. They successfully equalized the static pressure at the rear of the vehicle. They killed the vacuum effect. They are not just pushing a heavy metal box through the air, they are forcing the air currents to close smoothly behind the car, virtually eliminating the parachute effect. It is laminar flow control at its absolute peak. stealing aerodynamic secrets straight from the aerospace industry. Finally, we must address the most critical and dangerous element of electric vehicle engineering: the chassis and the battery pack. For the last 10 years, legacy automakers in Detroit and Germany have treated batteries like heavy, highly dangerous cargo. The traditional method is to build a heavy steel frame, put the battery modules inside a heavy metal box, bolt that box to the bottom of the car, and pray that it never catches fire. The new Chinese engineering standard utilizes cell-to-body integration, also known as CTB. The battery is no longer just dead weight being carried around. It is the actual structural skeleton of the car itself. The top cover of the battery pack is literally the floor of the passenger cabin. By turning the battery housing into a stressed member of the chassis, they achieved a torsional rigidity of 51,000 Newton meters per degree. To put that in perspective, that is mathematically stiffer than a $1 million Bugatti Veyron hypercar. But with this extreme level of integration comes a terrifying risk: thermal runaway. If one single lithium-ion cell fails, short circuits, and catches fire, the chain reaction will melt the entire chassis and incinerate the car in minutes. To solve this catastrophic physics problem, Chinese chemical engineers looked to space exploration. Between every single cell pack inside the SU7 battery, they placed thick layers of aerogel. Aerogel is the lightest solid material known to humanity. It is heavily used by NASA to insulate the Mars rovers from the freezing vacuum of deep space and to protect shuttles during atmospheric re-entry. Aerogel has a thermal conductivity so incredibly low that it practically stops thermodynamics in its tracks. Because of this aerospace-grade insulation, a single battery cell inside this car can violently fail, short circuit, and reach 800 degrees Celsius, and the battery cell right next to it, just millimeters away, will not even get warm. The fire is contained and suffocated immediately. They solved the structural physics by making the battery the frame. They solved the thermodynamic physics with space-age materials. They completely eliminated the risk of catastrophic thermal runaway. We are witnessing a generational, unprecedented shift in global engineering. The 897-volt architecture, the 27,000 RPM motors, the 0.195 drag coefficient, and the aerospace-grade aerogel integration. These are not just random numbers on a marketing spec sheet. They are undeniable proof that the fundamental laws of physics are being manipulated by Chinese engineers at a pace that the West simply cannot match anymore. Companies like Ford, General Motors, Volkswagen, and even Tesla are not just losing a simple price war. They are losing a highly complex technology war. And right now, looking at the data, they are decades behind in the implementation of these extreme materials. The West is struggling to optimize what they have, while China is completely redesigning what a car is allowed to be. If you want to understand how deep this engineering rabbit hole really goes, and how other disruptive technologies are quietly destroying the legacy automotive market from the inside out, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. I want to hear from the engineers, the mechanics, and the car enthusiasts watching this. Let me know in the comments section below. Do you truly believe that Western legacy automakers can ever catch up to this level of quantum engineering and material science? Or is the traditional auto industry in the United States and Europe already dead in the water? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next deep dive.